All right, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ericson Presents Mixing Tutorials. What y'all up to? Because this whole quarantine thing is super whack. Let me turn it down. This whole quarantine thing is super whack. Being in the house, working on pretty much my fitness. I've been doing P90X. That's the only thing I can probably do that can actually still build muscle. Other than that, yeah, so recently I got two people who just started mixing, and they were asking me about how they can get their music to sound loud. And in my opinion, I always felt like that is like easy to do. Just put a limiter on there and pull the threshold down, and the music's gonna get louder. However, they had no clue about that. And I was thinking to myself, usually when I do my YouTube videos, I always cater to people who have been mixing for a long period of time. So I try to do different techniques. Oh my bad, I thought I saw some booty walking by. Well, hey, when I put up to this park, there was this girl, she had so much cake. I wish I'd have got it on camera, but that would have been a little pervish, so I didn't. But oh my God. Anyways, I always thought that people knowing how to get their music louder was just something simple, and it really wasn't to these people. So I realized, like, when I was doing my videos before, like, I was catering to people who I assumed knew like the very basics of mixing, and I realized there is a whole nother market of people who are starting off brand new and they've never done this before. And then I started thinking, like, well, maybe I should start making videos for them, because I feel like people who are starting from the very beginning, turn my car off, roll this window up, people who are starting from the very beginning, they will probably benefit from this a lot more because they've never done it before. So I'm starting this new playlist, and this playlist is going to be for people who are literally starting from the beginning. What I do want to show you, since I'm in my car, you always want to have some sort of listening, how you test your music on. And I remember in the video before, I was testing y'all, telling y'all about my speakers. So I guess I'll show you what I got in my trunk, just so you can see what I'm testing my bass on. So yeah, it's a cool box, custom. My partner put it in for me. There's a hole in the front side of the box that points into the car. So my trunk don't rattle, which is cool. The amp on top of it is controlling everything in the car, from the doors to tweeters, everything. Everything goes through that amp. If this amp doesn't work, I have no sound in the car. So anyhow, I'm going on a little hike just to get outside. Waiting on my homegirl to show up. But in the meanwhile, I kind of want to talk to you guys about what you could do if you are just now starting off. Let me sit down. Actually, it's kind of nice outside. Let me stand up. If you guys are just starting off, like, what you should probably get. Oh yeah. What you should probably get to start this process. So like most of the people who are probably trying to mix their own music, they're probably artists, and they're probably doing things maybe to put up on SoundCloud. Maybe you're downloading beats off of YouTube and you want to record to them, put them up, and you just want it to sound good. I mean, this is going to be the playlist for you. If you're brand new, you haven't spent any money, well then what I would recommend you do is find a DAW that is probably cheap. I use Studio One. I just love Studio One. I like the way it works. Studio One has different versions. You can do a artist version. That's the cheapest one. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's $100 or maybe it's $2. I don't know. I don't use artist. I use professional, because when you use artist, you can't use third-party plugins. But if you want to just get to, do the simple to get it out, I would definitely recommend that. I know when people think of music, they think of Pro Tools as like what you're supposed to use, and Pro Tools is not the only software out there. I I don't use Pro Tools. However, I have Pro Tools. And the reason why I have Pro Tools is for people who have Pro Tools. When they want me to mix something, they'll send me a session. And if it's in Pro Tools, I can pull up the Pro Tools session and I can bounce it out of Pro Tools and put it in Studio One. So that's why I have pretty much every DAW. A lot of people like to use Logic. Logic is another one. So you can use that as well. If you use any, it doesn't matter. You can use, I know they have Reason. I used to make beats and Reasons way back in the day. Now I know they have like a little studio software. If you're going to use Reason, you can probably use anything, really. It doesn't matter. It's like, if you're comfortable with it, if you can get a good recording, then definitely I would recommend doing that. So then if you're going to do that, then you're probably going to need to get a interface, a computer. I'm assuming you have a computer. If you don't have you don't have a computer, you definitely need to get one with some RAM in it. Replace the RAM that you do have. Like when you first buy it, at least get 16 gigs of RAM. I mean, you might be able to get away with 8, but I would just say if you can spend the money, or if you need to save up the money to get it, just go with 16, and then you should be fine. What else? You're gonna need a microphone, condenser microphone. There are some $100 ones. There are some $500 ones. There's some $1,000 ones. I don't think that it's gonna matter anymore as far as like with the quality of what people are bringing to the table now, as far as companies. So if you do have $100 microphone, like, get the recording, and you can make a $100 microphone work. Also, if you don't have a booth, what you can do is you can use your closet. Now, I wouldn't recommend pulling everything out of your closet. I would recommend going into your closet, keeping all of your clothes in your closet, and then while you're in your closet, maybe put the microphone in front of, you know, some coats or some blankets or whatever. Just put a lot of stuff in there just so the sound can stop bouncing around and you should be fine. What else could you, as long as you have a computer interface, you have a microphone, you can even have how I have the little foam that goes around the microphone, that works as well. And some decent monitors. In my opinion, because you are just starting out and your room probably isn't going to be treated, you should probably focus on getting some good headphones, and SonarWorks 4, the headphone correction software. Correct the headphones to flat using the software, and then mix with that on, and you'll definitely get a good mix out of that. You'll get a better mix out of other than using nothing at all. So if you don't have a lot of money and you do have a job, I would recommend definitely waiting off, stack up a little bit more money, and then going to purchasing the equipment, because let's be honest, the more money you spend on your equipment, the better the quality is going to be. But if you don't have that option and you just want to get started, then I highly would recommend just getting started with the basics. Those basics will get you in the ballpark. So what you're going to learn about hopefully I'm in the, can you tell me if my face is in there? Mm-hmm. So my face is in there. Okay, so what you're going to learn about in this playlist is I'm just going to teach you the full basics from the beginning. I'm going to go over techniques, and I'm not going to speed through them like I was doing before. I'm just going to work the technique, and we're going to do the technique on multiple different sources. That way, once you're done learning the technique, you'll have the technique, and then you can apply that technique to any sound source that you have. So that's what we're going to be doing. I feel like the playlist is going to be dope. So I'll see y'all in the list.